Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Nikolaus Heger. I'm the tech lead for Seeds. I've been in crypto now for a couple of years. To add to the story a little bit, I did go on a spiritual path, ended up in Bali as well, like so many people. And as soon as that was finished, I was just extremely excited to get into crypto, and I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017 when it was like all the way at the top, and then it crashed and I lost all my money, but actually I held on to it through the entire time, so now it's back up again. So in the end, crypto, you always want to hold it. I learned that even if it goes down 10x. And yeah, while I was here, the reason I got into blockchain in the first place was that I could see that it's a transitionary technology that can move us from the old world to a new world. And the way it can do that is by its properties of being decentralized. So that's the most important, maybe, because I hear, now there's talks of government coins and things like that, but that's not crypto. Crypto is supposed to be decentralized. And the reason it's decentralized is that if you have a decentralized group of people, then it cannot be corrupted. If it's, anything that is centralized will be corrupted over time. So it was very clear to me. And I was just very excited to get into this decentralized space and, build there. And actually, in my vision, I was seeing, communities of people gathering together. And then I met Reiki, the founder of Seeds, in Bali, and he explained the vision to me, and it was just very beautiful. So the vision of Seeds, can I maybe share a screen? I'm not sure I have the rights to do this.
Yep, you can share screen, the green button at the bottom.
Oh, wait, I have to. Yep, that is not quite working on my computer. There's a security thing. Security settings. See, I need to get the screen access here. Hold on a sec. Sorry for that. There's a problem. I have a new computer, so now it should work. Okay. All right. So now it should work.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me share this. Where is it? Okay. 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 Let's share this. All right. Does it show up now?
Yep.
I'm like very confused right now. What's happening?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I can see, yep. We can see.
There's a lot of things. Okay. Okay. Yep. You can see the Seeds constitution. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right. So yeah, so the vision of Seeds is to create a thriving society of the future. And the founder of Seeds wanted to actually create communities, but then he realized that for communities to thrive, we need to have our own currency. And so he started designing this currency called Seeds. And in the meantime, we have a constitution of Seeds. And so let me just explain the original vision. It was sort of like, let's imagine we have a financial system. It's not just a coin, it's a whole financial system that rewards regenerative behavior. So the idea is that the current financial system rewards degenerative behavior. So for example, it would reward, if there's a forest and you cut it down and you sell the wood, you make money from selling the wood. So it's sort of like incentivizing people to cut down a forest. Whereas our system is supposed to be a financial system that would reward you to grow a forest. So and many other things like that are can be imagined, where currently there is no financial incentives to do many things that would actually be good for the civilization, the earth, the humans, and all of us really. And so in Seeds, we want to reverse this and reward things that are regenerating the planet, that are, you know, creating thriving local communities, and that are non-exploitative for the earth. So the way that we do that is in Seeds we have basically it's a currency that has a small inflation, and this small inflation is being paid back to the people of Seeds, but not in the same amount to everyone, but depending on their contribution score. So depending on your regenerative score, for example, for your business, you would get a larger percentage of the available money, of the inflation money. In current financial systems, inflation just happens, and, you know, the money goes into dark corners where nobody knows actually, you know, it's being paid to, you know, friends of the people who print the money, probably the way that humans work. But in Seeds, everything is transparent and on chain, and the inflation is being paid back to all the citizens of Seeds, as well as organizations and businesses that are inside of Seeds. And then, yeah, so organizations are then going to be rated by the citizens based on their, you know, ecological impact, and the, you know, the better their impact is, the more, you know, financial incentives they have to get cash back. So that's one aspect. So we kind of incentivize people to trade with each other, and we also incentivize people to trade with organizations that are regenerative. So when for example, if I purchase some item from a, you know, regenerative organization versus Amazon, let's say, I would get a higher score for that. So the scores kind of add up over time, and they kind of impact how much we get back. But at the same time, basically, the more I transact with regenerative businesses, the more money I get back. So this kind of incentivizes the entire system to enable more regenerative practices. Yeah, so that was the original vision. And the second vision that he told me about was that some part of this inflation would actually accumulate into a global pool of money, and other parts would be accumulating into regional money pools. And then the citizens of Seeds could actually decide what happens with this money. So that means basically we would have the ability to have public works that's completely decentralized and not controlled by any single authority. Therefore, for example, if I'm a citizen of Seeds and, you know, I'm in my bioregion and I want to like build a community garden, but I need $100,000 to do that, then I would go to the proposal system and create a new proposal and, you know, outline how I'm going to do that and exactly like where the money is going to be spent, etc. And then the people in this local region could vote on my proposal versus other people's proposals that want to do other stuff. And if the proposal gets passed, then the system itself would finance my project. So if you think about this a little bit more, what you end up having is a global system where people can organize themselves, and we don't need, you know, central authority or government anymore, because what we said before, you know, is, well, we need government to, you know, do things like build streets or things like that. But if a currency like Seeds would be up and running and, you know, and really, you know, become like scale at a bigger scale, then we could just organize ourselves. So this is what Seeds really is. And this is also what a financial system is and what a currency really is. So I've been thinking about a lot about what is a currency, what is a financial system, what is this even for? In the future that I see, perhaps we don't need any money. We can just work on synchronicity, which is a concept that every human expresses their full individual self. And, you know, when that happens, then a lot of creativity comes out of that. And this creativity can probably help other people. And people are generally set up in a way that, you know, we want to serve others. It's actually the most fun thing to do when you give and when you serve others. So in this utopian society, everybody does what they want and everything gets done in this global system, but we're not there yet. So in order to transition there, we get seeds, we got a currency, and really what this currency is for is it's tools to organize humans on a larger scale. It's not really, we think about money as we have all kinds of things, ideas about money, but at the end of the day, if we define abundance as the ability to do what we want to do when we want to do it, rather than defining it by I have $1 million in the bank account, then we realize that money is just like a unit of account where we kind of keep track of value. And in an ideal society now with seeds, money would just be used to organize ourselves, also to distribute value for sure. It's not like everyone's equal system. It's more like the more value you provide, the more you will make. It's the same thing as before, but there's certain elements built into seeds where it's actually equalizing over time. So there's many different protocols built into seeds. One is for a thriving civilization. That's probably the most important one. And I want to just go in the Constitution. It's very long, so I'm not going to read all of this. But in Article 3, we have the 3 principles of life. And I found this very nice. We acknowledge how our universe exists and evolves as a single unified entity, an undividable wholeness. The universe is a single unified being. So this is where this entire thing is coming from. It's coming from a vision of the future where we envision how the future societies will operate, and then we project it back to our current situation and how we can start using it right here. So I was saying there's a few different protocols inside of seeds for a thriving society, for regenerating the planet, and also for creating more equality on the planet, because all the cashbacks, the cashback system inside of seeds are always set up in a way so that the most, let's say the person or the individual who gets the most, at the most gets 100 times what the least one gets. So currently, in our current systems, we have CEOs that get 10 million times of what a worker in Bangladesh gets. So we have a very vast discrepancy in incomes. But with seeds, we kind of equalize over time with the grading between 1 and 100. So everyone has their money like usual. But if you have a huge amount more, then at the most you get 100x more than somebody who has almost nothing. So this is the way that the system, as it's paying these cashbacks or paying the inflation back to the citizens, as it's expanding, it will reduce inequality as well on the planet. So this is there's many different tokenomics mechanisms to make this work, and I guess our current status is that we have a community of about 10,000 people that are very engaged and that want to launch this currency in many different areas. There's many different ideas on liquidity providing. And so this is kind of the practical aspect, to bringing back the vision to how do we actually make this work right now, because that's what I'm most interested in. My role is sort of like making all these systems work. I'm also the technical lead of Seed, so I'm implementing a lot of the protocols on top of the blockchain. And the way we make it work is by creating local circular economies. And once they get up and running, then the system will very quickly kind of show its advantages over like other systems, because in Seeds, it's a better than free currency. So sending Seeds is free, but you also get the cash back, so it's kind of better than free. So you could send money around the world in 0.5 seconds. That's the block time of the EOS blockchain. We are running on the Telos blockchain, which is an EOS.io blockchain, and it's 0.5 seconds block time. It's 10,000 transactions per second. So it's a very high performant blockchain that is very inexpensive to operate, and actually for our users it's free.
Nick, just to give us some context, like, can you compare it to the other alternatives on the market? Like how much faster, etc.?
Yeah, so let's say Bitcoin, I was sending Bitcoin yesterday. In the past, Bitcoin, transaction prices have been $100. Right now, like just sending any kind of amount of Bitcoin would cost you $100. Right now, it seems to be a lot lower. I don't know why, but it would still take, it was taking an hour yesterday. Ethereum currently has prices of also absurd prices, basically $100 per transaction. So if you want to send $3 to your friend, it costs you $100 to send. So you're definitely not going to do that. And the block times are much better in Ethereum. It's about 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But EOS is probably the most comparable. It's instant transactions. Basically, yeah. So we are as good as it gets. No currency is better. Even things like Ripple have smart costs, and the smart costs, if you send larger amounts, then the smart costs probably won't bother you. But if you're sending microtransactions, then it gets very important. Like a currency that is free has the advantage that things are possible that are not possible with other currencies. Like you could make a lot of transactions for 1 cent or 0.5 cents. And you could do interesting crowdfunding projects with this, or like all kinds of interesting things that this would provide. Yeah,
cool.
So that's the blockchain aspect, and then there's a governance aspect that I can also talk about. But maybe we can do questions as well. There's a lot of so seed citizens, like to make it really short. Seed citizens get a voice based on their contribution score, and then they can vote on global proposals and on local proposals. And they can also create bioregions or local regions for the local area. And this is also completely decentralized. As soon as 144 citizens decide that they have created a region, then the region becomes active without anybody interfering. So this is maybe also important to note that we created this entire system, but it's all open source and it's not owned by us. It's owned by the seed citizens. So we are giving it all away, basically. So we are creating this and giving it all away. That's also why we are interested in collaborating. We don't have this competitive idea. There is no competition here because, we are already in the first place just building it and giving it away. So we see that as the future of civilization as well, that everything is shared.
Cool. Yeah. Nick, you mentioned regenerative versus degenerative activities. Is there a category of neutral or gray area, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. The way we do it right now is it's just by citizens' votes. So citizens can say, I love this business, I know them, they're nearby, and they can vouch for this business to say, oh, they are, organic. But there is no central authority that decides who is good and who is not good. It's all dependent on votes by citizens. So currently it's all just a rating system, basically. So if somebody's neutral, then maybe nobody will rate it positive and nobody will rate it negative. And it's just like the way it is, Other things, they might get rated negative. And then, the example would be if we had Amazon and, Amazon.com and, everyone hates it and it's exploiting the people and things like that, then people would downrank it, but it would still create probably a huge volume. But because it has a low rating, then it wouldn't receive any cashbacks, basically, in the system.
Right. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, if anyone has questions for Nikolaus, please feel free to unmute or post it into the chat box. But while I'm speaking, I just want to remind Peter, where's Peter? Peter McIntosh, if you're in this room, you need to go to room 1 because your talk is up next. And people are anticipating a very interesting talk about your sound healing project. So Peter, if you can hear me, please go to room 1. I've given you the link for that. Okay. All right, back to this session. While waiting for other questions, Nick, are there, I love the vision and the framework. Are there projects in Bali already that have incorporated this? And if yes, then are you seeing the regenerative results of them incorporating seeds?
Not yet. We have been in talks with a few different projects. One of them, I feel like it's extremely promising, but it's also under wraps right now, so I can't really talk about it. But
Sure.
it all has to do with fostering organic agriculture, removing
Nice.
chemicals, pesticides, removing GMOs from the equation, and getting the farmers kind of a much better deal than they are already getting. And in Bali, it's very interesting because it's actually really easy here to set up, circular economies, because the farmers would be accepting seeds, and then the restaurants can be accepting seeds, and the restaurants can pay the farmers in seeds, and then there is already like a lot of different things that we could wire together that could stay completely inside of seeds. And then obviously for each of these projects kind of provide like a regional fund and pool to cash out as well. The other aspect is we also want to support projects that are regenerative. So we are issuing seeds grants for any regenerative projects really that want to receive a grant. It's sort of like an airdrop, but it's more intentional. So if you're interested, if you have a regenerative project and you want to have a seeds grant, which could be worth a lot of money in the future, you just apply, and then if it gets voted in, you will get these seeds. They're locked up for now. They're in an escrow contract, but they will be released later on. It's a bit like the Uniswap airdrop, except it's more intentional towards regeneration.
Right. Yeah. Before you joined earlier today, we were talking about some of the impact projects and how they get funded. So, for example, there was a big clean tech facility to dispose of toxic waste. And I guess in a way that would fall into the regenerative category. How is it possible for them to raise capital through your framework and actually have fiat currency to pay for capital intensive and operational expenses? Yeah,
it's a bit roundabout right now because seeds is not liquid and not on exchanges, so it's not possible to freely trade it and exchange it for cash. That only happens after go live. So we expect this to be next year when we actually go on exchanges and enable all our protocols. But for the time being, what we have done with a bunch of other organizations that we've signed up is that they have gotten seeds grants, and then they can use these seeds grants as a backing for regenerative funds that come in with the fiat currency and fund whatever wants to be funded, and then they get paid back these seeds eventually. So we also have a lot of connections to these funds. Like there's some very large regenerative funds on the planet. Can't remember the names right now, but there's like in the billions of dollars basically funds that are just there to regenerate the earth.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a roundabout way, but it's it's quite valid. So this is how we can do it.
Great.
Because there's fiat expenses. You sit on your seeds and they're not liquid. So what do you do with them? But you can use them as backing to get the fiat currency, and then use the cash to do whatever you need to be doing.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, good. We have a question from Kresna. Kresna, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
I was just asking about the concept, and I now found it in the paper just being said by Nikolaus. So all good.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I copied the PDF, the Constitution of Seeds. So that also links to a game guide, where the game guide is more into like, how does it actually work? What are the actual protocols? And all the game guide has already been implemented. It's already deployed on smart contracts already. It's just waiting for the go live event to really get all turned on. But currently you can already send seeds, you can transact in seeds. We have a wallet, we have a mobile app that you can use, we have a web app. Yeah, we have a mobile wallet already, so yeah.
Great. Okay, any other questions for Nicholas? So Nicholas, you're based in Bali. Where's the, like, how big is the team, and where are they, based around the world? How many are in Bali?
So currently we are working as a team that's called Haifa, and Haifa is a decentralized organization itself. It has no real location other than on the blockchain. So it's we're organizing the payroll, and everything in our company is organized on the blockchain as a DAO. So this is our secondary business, basically to become a DAO builder and help others people build DAOs. This is all around the world. I think we're currently probably over 30 people. Yeah, we have some investment money, and we're currently raising another round, and gonna ship DAO software as well. But Seeds is currently in a phase of decentralizing more, where we got a lot of very engaged members of the community, and we said, okay, you guys, you take it over now, and you start making these governance protocols work and things like that. So that's currently happening, where it becomes like a whole steering guardianship community of people who will guide the further evolution of Seeds. Because as I said, we don't own it. We just put it out there.
Very cool. I know you mentioned that there are some projects that you can't speak about publicly yet, but is there anything you could say about what highlights for Seeds in Bali in 2022?
Well, I'm hoping.
Your vision for it.
Yeah, so for 2022, I'm hoping that in Q1 we are having a go live event, and Seeds becomes a stable currency. So Seeds will be inherently stable. It will breathe with supply and demand, meaning that if there's more demand, more Seeds will be created and given. And if there is more supply than demand, then Seeds will be burned. So it's sort of like a protocol. It's comparable to a few other protocols out there. So I'm hoping that we hit the go live, and we get ready, and we actually implement it with a couple of communities in South America. And Bali could be the next one. If we find a good match, we could absolutely have it here. So what we are doing there is we are creating local coins. So the local bioregion, let's say in Bali, for example, could get a seeds grant of, let's say, 10 million seeds, and then create their own coin based on this seeds grant, which is, we call them rainbow seeds. But you can call them anything. You can call them Bali seeds or Bali coin or whatever you want. And it will be a proper local cryptocurrency, but it can only be used locally. So that value cannot be extracted from the local area. And it becomes a local circular currency. But because it's backed by Seeds, it's also tied into the network effect of the global Seeds currency. So I'm hoping to get at least one of those off the ground next year. That would be amazing.
All right, very good.
It's a slow process. So I mean, Seeds is kind of its own vision, and it's coming in its own time. We have learned that over the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I think the name Seeds is you want to respect. There's a natural rhythm to it. So yeah, very cool vision. Very admirable framework and what you're trying to do to promote regenerative activities and incentivize it, because I think that makes sense. The more people are incentivized to do regenerative work, then we can make the whole world a better place for humans and for the environment. So well done. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Okay.